here we are to the eighth episode of Game of Growth. The weather is amazing, and we have our guest today, Teja Aditya Surpi, on the show. He is the founding member at Spoyl, India's largest influencer led fashion destination. So, Teja, how is the new normal treating you?
I think I kind of made peace with it right now. So initially, not denying this, but staying at home was really difficult because I get pretty restless given that my daily routine had changed. And somewhere I felt that my productivity fell. Since change is the only constant, as I mentioned earlier, I'm making peace with it. And I'm figuring out different ways to, keep myself productive and continue working.
So do
Yeah.
we, so do we, so do we. Completely agree with you. So, Teja, can you share with us your journey so far, especially your stint at Spoil? How was your journey?
So I joined as an HR and operations manager in 2015 and slowly moved my way to head operations and finance for the first 3 years. So as you mentioned earlier, Spoil is an influencer-led e-commerce company, and we got acquired by the fashion vertical of Flipkart, which is too good recently. And story goes like one day I heard my friend that Bhargav had recently moved from the US and he's looking to build a company and looking to build a team. That's when I had a couple of conversations with the founder and took it off from there. And we found synergies and we were like, yes, let's do this. Before Spoil, I was selling document solutions for Kyocera. Kyocera, it's a Japanese MNC, basically high-end and fancy printers. I was selling it to most of the businesses around Hyderabad and Gachibowli. Yeah.
The success is definitely coming in for Spoil, I guess. And so, how did the collaboration with the influencers get started, and how well do these collaborations work?
Yep. Spoil, as I mentioned, Spoil initially started out as a C2C model, nothing but a customer to customer or a peer to peer model. Right. Our initial goal was to tap into the shared economy, especially with fashion. We were like something like OLX and Quicker for fashion. Right. We wanted to tap into fashion and high end apparel segment and figured out influencers are good target segment to begin with. Apart from building a product, we want to build a community, build a fashion and influencer community, right? Based on their influencer growth as well. So back in 2015, influencer marketing was in its early stages, especially in India. And we at Spoil grabbed the opportunity with both hands. We wanted to monetize their content and build a platform mostly around influencers. So content again, it's the same content creation. We had chat and we had other cool social features, and at the same time targeting regular audience or regular users like you or me who can, who are interested in buying those pre-loved or pre-loved goods. It's as simple as this. You post your pre-loved item. It could be your wedding kurta, or it could be your expensive shirt, or anything. Your pre-loved item on Spoil, chat with a potential buyer and transact. And Spoil used to take care of end-to-end logistics, customer support, and the quality checks since it's a pre-loved garment.
Right.
Forward to 2017, we figured out that we were able to build a community around shared economy, but our unit economics were taking a hit. So we started out figuring a couple of business models, eventually launched Spoil 2.0, an influencer-led marketplace for fashion and cosmetics. Eventually, we launched influencer labels, first to do in the country, and eventually launched Humble Let's by superstar Mahesh Babu. He's a South Indian superstar.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, just a follow-up question with that: who are these influencers basically? In what domain they are specifically working?
So back in 2015 and 2017, especially these guys were fashion. I mean, fashion influencers. These guys are predominantly from fashion. We had about 70% from fashion and about 30% catering to cosmetics and beauty segment.
Right. So, how big is the influencer marketing industry? How are the markets different in developed countries versus the emerging markets?
I mean, if you look at influencer marketing now, I mean, everybody is an influencer. Everybody, you can be an influencer. I can be an influencer. I can influence somebody to buy this. So I'm doing it at a smaller scale, right? Similarly, somebody like your, let's say your friend or somebody, mostly like a key opinion leaders. So these guys can influence what you can buy. So technically, these guys reach to a very small segment of audience. However, using social media, right, these guys reach to a wider audience, even in millions. I mean, few of these influencers cater to millions of their fans and audience. So these guys have the ability to influence a decision. So
Right.
and with emergence of video platforms like TikTok, Hello, or even Mithron, I am not sure about. I mean, I'm not sure if I spelled it right. Yeah, and especially targeting tier twos and tier three cities, it's safe to say that a majority of Indian internet user base is hooked to entertainment based content,
Right.
right? So as I mentioned earlier, with entertainment, anybody can create anything, and anybody is an influencer or anybody is a content creator, right? The
Right.
numbers are crazy. Look at TikTok; they have about 180 million active users in India, and Instagram has close to 120 million active users in India. So I think the only difference I see is use of technology. India as a country is still evolving in terms of using tech for their influencer marketing efforts, right? Few companies like there are few influencer companies using tech, or these companies are technically influencer agencies. One Impression or Opa Reviews or Chatterbox or Galleryfy. These guys are doing great job with using technology. It's seamless with them. When you work as an influencer with them, it's very easy. However, developed countries extensively use technology to screen and onboard influencers. Right? You have platforms like Scrunch.com or Hype Auditor in developed countries like US or in Australia. So these guys provide end-to-end solutions to influencers. However, we don't have same platforms in India, and probably another thing could be Instagram doesn't let anybody to crawl their APIs. Even if you crawl Instagram today, in the next 2 months they are going to change the APIs, and they're going to have a different means to screen user data. So
Oh,
Instagram will never let you do that. We still depend on, I mean, India as a country, we still depend on Google Sheets, spreadsheets to take care of our influencer marketing efforts.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, how are you winning the trust of your customers? How do you promote and market your collection on Spoil channels, be it on the website or the application?
So it's very difficult to be in the e-commerce space, especially marketplaces like Myntra and Amazon providing exceptional customer service, right? To win a customer, either we have to match them or we have to do better than them to win our customers. Right. I think one way is you should have empathy towards customers, right? You should listen to them, understand, okay, what they are really going through. And every time we do that, we can delight the customer. It's not just acquiring customer, you can delight the customer. So have
Right.
empathy, listen to your customer, and they will take you forward.
Great. That was very
Yeah.
crisp. So, why do you think Spoil stands out in the pool of e-commerce fashion stores?
So our main USP is our platform, where you as an influencer, you as a content creator, you can create content, both static and dynamic content. Static here is basically your photos. Either you create the content and you upload on the app, or you can create content using photos or product catalogs from Spoil app itself. And dynamic content I was referring to, basically you can upload your videos, right? So you can create content by using products only from Spoil app, right? Could be anything. We have about 16 or 17 different categories, both for men and women. You can create content using any of these categories from the app, and products available only from the app, and you have a chance to monetize your content, right? No app right now is catering to that particular problem. You're just creating content, right? Let's say
Right.
Let's talk about Instagrams and TikToks. Instagrams and TikTok, you as an influencer, you can earn money when you have a substantial user base. Let's say you have 10K followers or 15K followers, brands are looking at you, external brands are looking at you, and they want to bank on your reach. However, somebody with 1K followers or 2K followers, these guys, we call them as micro or nano influencers, right? These guys don't have an opportunity, they have to wait to hit a mark. Say example, I have to hit the 10K followers or 15K followers to monetize their content. They can get their barter deals, everything is fine. But to technically monetize, you need apps like Spoyl, where you create content and you have a chance. If somebody buys from your link or somebody buys from your video or your content, you get instant kickback, like good 16% commission on the product value, 17% commission on the product value. When we were doing this, our average order value was about 720 rupees or something, and 16% of 720 per post is a big margin even for the influencers.
Great. So this is a very good opportunity. Like Spoil serves a very good opportunity for, in fact, for budding influencers to
Yep,
build their profile.
yep. Yeah, I would like to add another point here. When you look at these guys, especially um, the tier one or tier two influencers, majorly with 50K followers or 100K followers or whatever it is. So we generally categorize them or slap them essentially with the number of followers they have. Right? These guys have the reach, but their engagement rates are very bad. I mean, if you look at somebody with 100K followers, their engagement rate is anywhere between 2.5 to 3%. That's it. However, when you look at somebody with 100K, sorry, 1,000 followers or 2,000 followers, so these guys have exceptional engagement rates, good 20 to 25%, because these guys have the aspiration to be the next big influencer. So they reach out to each and every DM, they reach out to each and every comment, right? And they talk to each and every audience they have. So what happens is, with better engagement rates, you get better conversions. Our
Right.
conversions with nano influencers were, almost close to what we had with our top tier or level one influencers. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So, how does Spoil acquire influencers and fashion bloggers, who share the word out about the brands? So what is the acquisition strategy here?
So again, we were very choosy about content creators, again influencers. We wanted to work with, right? Right. When we launched the program, we had close to 8,000 applications in a week. I mean, that's a huge number. We didn't expect that number. And when we eventually got acquired by Flipkart, we had close to 1.2 lakh applications, right? That's a big number. Almost 1 lakh 20,000 influencers want to partner with us or work with Spoil, right? However, we had our own set of guidelines to screen these guys. And if you want to be an influencer, you have to meet certain criterias, which we had clearly mentioned or which we had in our heads, right? So eventually we worked with good 2,500 influencers, and about 40% of them used to create content on regular basis. And you asked about the acquisition strategy, right? Instagram
Yeah.
worked beautifully for us, right? We tapped into our own community. So back in 2015, when we launched the app, we used influencers since day one. We had Santoshis, we had Kritika Kuranas, or we had Karan Wahis in our platform. So these guys are technically, back in 2015, these guys were the biggest influencers India had, especially in the fashion segment. Again, coming to the acquisition strategy, we used Instagram extensively, right? We tapped into our own community. So we had influencers. So when we launched our app in 2015, we've been using influencers since day one. We had Kritika Kuranas, we had Santoshis, or we had Karan Wahis. These guys were the top influencers slash top bloggers in India back in 2015. And I think these guys are, right? Word of mouth worked out very well. We acquired influencers using our influencers, especially you as an influencer, you can refer somebody. We introduced even a referral system. So even that worked out very well. And I think a couple of social media hacks from the team, which helped us acquire influencers.
Right.
Yeah.
So, could you share with us an example of influencer marketing programs that are launched by Spoil?
So our entire business model and growth model was based on influencers from different social media channels. So we used Instagram extensively, and our second best channel was YouTube. So as I mentioned earlier, I mean, whatever we did, it's with influencers, right? We wanted our transactions to go up, or we want our number of orders to increase, or we wanted our monthly active users or daily active users to increase. So how we used influencers, I mean, I'm gonna break it down into different set of strategies we used influencers to market our products.
Right.
One is to increase our daily active users, monthly active users. For this, content is the king. I think, we used content extensively, right? We asked our influencers to create content on a daily basis. As I mentioned earlier, 40% of our influencers used to create content on a regular basis, right? What happens is you're creating content, you have other users looking at content, your DAUs or your monthly active users, and your number of sessions is going to increase, especially the time spent on the app is going to increase.
Right.
Right? Typical content consume, I mean, when you consume a content, it's going to take about 1.5 to 2 minutes. We had short videos like TikTok or like Instagram, we had short videos. When you consume like 10 videos, you spent already 20 minutes, right? That's going to increase your numbers, increase your time spent on the app and your DAUs and MAUs. So coming to number of transactions, as I mentioned earlier, influencers create aspiration to the community, and users can connect to influencers really well. Influencer is somebody just like you or me. I could be an influencer or you could be an influencer. So what happens is this you this will create a connect to users. Okay, I can connect to this guy really well because he's not, let's say, in terms of dressing sense or in terms of fashion sense, let's say he's not too flashy. So looking at the other aspect is you know how can you use influencers, or how can you use key opinion leaders to influence somebody's behavior, somebody's purchase behavior. So you can, what we figured out is people or normal users, regular users. So these guys connect to influencers very well, because influencer is somebody, who is not a big star, who is not a TV artist, or who is not a celebrity. Yes, these guys are key opinion leaders, or these guys are social media stars. But end of the day, these guys are regular people living normal lives, right? These guys,
Right.
usually influencers, have their routine job, 9 to 5 job, and after 5, probably these guys might create content, or Monday to Friday these guys work, and Saturdays and Sundays these guys create content. So what happens is you are like another user, but regular users connect to them very well. So when we launched influencer labels, we launched a couple of collections with influencers to test how users are going to perceive uh, the styles, or how users are going to react to the collection. So we launched a label with Karan Wahi, we launched a label with Santoshi Shetty, we launched a label with Kritika Kurana. So what we did here is our average order value used to be 450 or 500 rupees, right? Uh, 500 rupees at the max. So what happens is you're spending a lot on your operational cost, your technology cost, or your resources. You're not making anything. Your unit economics is taking a hit again. So we came up with our own labels where we can control the manufacturing, we can control pricing, and we can control the quality as well. So we priced these labels on an expensive on or a higher end. Like since I mentioned our AOV was around 500, we priced these labels anywhere between 799 to 1999. And what happened was influencers, because these guys have the pull, They improved our transactions, and these guys improved our average order value from 500 to almost 830 rupees per order. So we were technically, looking at
That
making margins. Yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Yeah,
no, I
you
mean
were
from
saying something.
500 to 830, it's from 500 to 830. It's actually significant.
Yeah, it's a big jump, right? It's almost, close to 60% jump. I mean, that's a big deal for a company running on margins, or the company, who is trying to build a community. You're technically fighting with Mintras and Flipkarts. So it's not easy to fight with them, or, you can't give away discounts or any other sales similar to them. But yeah, this was a great strategy which worked out, and influencers helped us, move from that 500 bracket to 800 bracket.
Great, that's amazing. So, what different channels do you use to engage your users and to connect with them? Also, any specific strategies you use to re-engage your customers again?
So channels again, our app, Spoil app, we had almost everything. We had chat, we had tools to create content, we had other social features. So we wanted to engage these guys on the app, again relating to, time spent and number of sessions as well. However, if you look at other channels, other social media channels, Instagram worked out really well for us. We started creating a lot of fashion hacks, right? A lot of DIY videos. We had interactive sessions with most of most of these influencers, most of these bigger influencers. We had Akriti Rana, we had Kritika Kurana, or we had Santoshi Shetty, or we had Jyoti Sethi coming in, having interactive sessions, having live sessions with our audience. We had fan meetups. We did a fan meetup when we launched Santoshi's collection back in 2019 in Bombay. So we invited about 150 or 160 people, especially Santoshi's fans, right?
Oh,
We had these meetups. So I think meetups, when you connect directly with the users, when you connect directly with your influencers, they play a major role in sustaining, or in engaging a user. Again, on a daily basis, we used to send push notifications, exciting offers for our loyal customers, voucher codes for our loyal customers, etc., etc. Yeah.
that's great. I agree with you. In fact, push notifications has this channel has garnered a lot of traction in the recent years.
Yep.
The reason being the quick engagement it gives, and with very less efforts. Coming to the next question, any advice and thoughts you would like to give to your audiences and startup leaders or budding influencers, I would say, who are trying to build themselves in this industry?
I mean, absolutely. If you're a budding influencer, stick to your content, stick to your roots, or just stick to, what you like doing. You will get the user base, you will get the following once you stick to what you like. Don't try to copy somebody else, because it's working out for them doesn't mean that it'll work out for you, right? That's one advice for influencers. I mean, if somebody is trying to uh, do something about influencers, or using influencers in India, please try to um, build your platform using technology, right? Technology, if you want to scale, technology is the way to go. You can't handle influencers, or you can't handle brands on Google Sheets, or manually. I mean, let's not say Google Sheets. Yeah, you can't handle brands manually. So build technology, build platforms which can cater to influencers and even the clients or brands.
Agree with
Yeah,
you. Agree with you,
yeah.
Teja. This was such a wonderful session with you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Teja Aditya Surabhi. He's the founding member at Spoil. Thank you so much, Teja.